let's hope this works. It's Wednesday, everybody. How you all doing today? I am in the Things Green studio here down in Los Angeles, California, where Nick Federoff does his television show for Things Green, and he's let us use his studio for our live stream today. So how exciting is that? Everybody let me know if you're hearing everything and seeing everything all right. But again, yeah, welcome. Wednesday is live here on the Urban Gardener. My name's Nick, and I'll be your host for today. If you have any questions or comments or anything, please get into the chat box. Let us know you're here. Let us know what you got growing on, where you're growing from, all of that great stuff there. It's good to see you all here, especially all of those of you who are coming back and watching us on our replay as well. So, we've got a lot of things going on the Urban Gardener this last week, as you all know. I am traveling, and I'm on the road here. I've been visiting with several different garden projects, gardeners, YouTube gardeners. We've got a bunch of really cool visits coming up here real soon that I'm really excited about sharing with all of you guys here as I get to putting together some videos and all of that. But real quick though too, I'm sure that everybody noticed we didn't get our Sunday upload this last week, so I've had a couple of issues on the road, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. But yeah, getting things uploaded. We will have videos coming out here real short. Friday, Sunday should be all set, and then from there we'll start updating some more. I've got a bunch of videos all set up for you guys. Some really cool stuff. We're finishing this Friday with our planting day part 3. We're going to be planting out all of the rest of the things in our gardens that we needed to kind of get out for the summertime crops that we have growing, and got all those planted out, put together a really nice video for all of you. So I hope that you all stay tuned and check that out, coming out Friday. And then Sunday comes the big spring garden tour. We're going to take you all around all of the different property that we have, and all the different growing spaces that we're growing in, and then I'm going to show you all the different things that we've got growing on this year. This year, everything is looking really, really great. I'm so proud of the garden this year. There's a lot of really good things growing on. There are a few things, as I show in the video too, that didn't quite work out quite as well as we want, or not working out. So hopefully some of the things will catch up and grow as well too. So again, thank you all for joining me here. Hit that thumbs up button if you're here, and let us know you're here. Give this video a like, and also again, let me know you're here. Get in that chat box, or if you're on the replay, get down in the comment section down below. Let me know that you're here. So we started off. We left you guys last week, and I was taking off on the road out to go do some visits. As you can see here, I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'll tell you, yeah, we had some road trip fun. I'm going to tell you what, it wasn't necessarily that fun either, but oh my, I was planning on getting another vehicle. It was one of the things I was trying to work on before I was going to head out on this trip, but I ended up using my vehicle that I have now that I've been using for the last several years. It's driven me all over the place. Such a reliable vehicle. Ended up not being so reliable this time. It left me stranded out in the middle of the desert. I'm telling you, I got stranded out in the middle of the desert in my car on my way down to Las Vegas. So where I live in Southern Oregon, you got to cross Northern California and go into Nevada, and then you go through like Reno and head down towards Vegas. That's all desert. That's just all out in the middle of nowhere too. And my car decided to go out on me, out in the middle of all of that. But thankfully I kept it all together really well and stayed positive. Did kind of bite into my emergency car budget a bit, and pretty much took that out. But everything did work out. We didn't lose too much time in what I was hoping to do, mess with my schedule. I've got a really tight schedule, because I've got a lot of really cool meetups and a lot of cool videos that we're putting together for everybody here on the channel. And so glad that it didn't really mess with all of the things that we've got going on with our schedule this time. So yeah, so that was a pretty crazy start to how this whole trip is going. But like I said, everything else so far has been going really, really great. We did get into Las Vegas, just a heads up for some videos we got coming up. We went to go meet up with my friend John Kohler. He's got a really great urban garden in the Las Vegas desert, so we got down there and talked a bit about about that, and got to shoot some videos with him for his channel. And he made a video with me, which we did with my camera and everything. He was like, oh, let's try your camera out. So we shot a video, I gave him the files for it, and the very next day he had that video put out and published. And that really hit the mark for us, because if you remember last week what we were talking about on our channel is we've hit this big, huge milestone, and we were just about there when I was talking to you last week, and I figured it was pretty much going to happen while I was down here on this trip. But when John put that video out and got a good bump of a good couple hundred subscribers to the channel, and that just launched us right past our 10,000 subscriber mark. 10,000 subscribers for our channel. It's just completely amazing. It's so awesome to see that finally happen, as I've been kind of anticipating it over the last couple of months. But it's really great to have all of you join with me on this garden adventure, supporting this channel, and doing all the things that you guys do to help maintain and keep everything moving forward here for us here. Because it's really important, all of you who watch this channel, all of you contribute and share and do all that sort of stuff. Is so important to this channel and its growth, and I really encourage you to, even more so now as we've hit the 10,000 mark, to get out there and share this channel, share it with your friends, let people know that we're out here so that we can continue to build this audience, build this community right around the Urban Gardener channel. And also too, if you haven't, and you're watching this video and you haven't done that, I've got it down in the description below, a link to our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group called Let's Get Growing. It's a Facebook group for gardeners and everybody who are viewers and gardeners around this channel and all of that. A good place for everybody to be able to meet up, continue the gardening conversation, share your pictures, share your videos, share your things going on in your garden. It's a really good and great community there that we're building. Let's Get Growing group, as well as all of the other links to all the different social media that we have down below for our channel as well, where you might find a possible place to be able to share and let everybody know out there that we are out here growing on the Urban Garden. How about this? Isn't this great? We're up here in Nick Federoff's studio. We were actually just shooting some footage for a television program that he's going to have out on his television show that he films down here as well. And hopefully here in just a few minutes we'll have him in here. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But it was really fun to be able to kind of get in front of the camera here in a really more professional studio than what I do here with basically we're filming right on an iPhone. Right behind it is a professional studio, television studio camera. So. But it was really fun to be able to do that and to get together and have him invite me for that to do that. So I'm just really great day today, just enjoying this visit. And let's see here, we've got Dan. Dan, nice to join with us. Thank you for stopping in there. And Dan asked, is Nick going to be on the show with you today? And yes, in fact, he's in the other room, and we'll be bringing him in on here in just a few moments here, and then hopefully you guys will have some questions or anything for him there too as well too. So yeah, we'll have him on here, sitting right next to me in just a few minutes. But yeah, we got together, we did some stuff with some of the plants that he's got here growing, and talking more about house plants than the vegetable garden that we usually grow. But you watch these live streams on a regular basis, you know I really love house plants as well too. I've got tons of them for my background on my usual live stream, so it was really fun to be able to get together with him and work on some of these plants. In fact, let me pull this one over here. We did work on this one here a little bit. Let's see if I can't get that in there. There we go. But yeah, so we were potting up and propagating some varieties of plants that he's got here for his show. So I'm really looking forward to be able to see that when that comes out. This is filmed ahead of time, though. It will be coming out later in this fall. So when that does happen, I will be sure to share with all of you guys links and all that sort of stuff, as well as there'll be links to Nick's channel down below and We'll also be having a video with him here coming real soon as well too to be featured. Here he comes, the man himself, the myth, Nick Fedoroff of Things Green, joining us here.
Yeah, that's hanging.
Good to see you, man. Hopefully
See you
we're
too.
fit in here, right?
Yeah, I think so. This will be all right.
We got a little bit of a delay, but I think we'll fit all right.
Hey, look at that. I never get to see myself while I'm doing that.
It's the only way I can really do it though too, because I don't got anybody behind me checking or doing anything like that. And if you see, we're just kind of going blind. We can't see anything as far as the camera is
Well, you got a
concerned.
fancy one, then, that's for sure.
Yeah, so yeah.
Nice. You almost make me look pretty.
Almost. Right? But no, I was just telling everybody how, you know, we're filming on the iPhone camera and everything right now, and then right behind us this professional television camera. And it's just, it's great when we actually get to come in here and use the studio.
Well, they'll actually get to see your mugshot on there this coming fall, because we did a little show together.
Yeah, I was just briefly getting started telling them
Oh,
about
is that right?
That was
Okay.
really fun, Nick, and I really
Nice.
appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's always fun when you come around over here. Last time you were doing radio with us.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. And that was the feature that we did, and that was one of the things that were actually how I first found out about you. You know, was through your radio program. That was we became friends on Facebook. I think early on when I was making my channel and developing that sort of thing. But I just kept noticing this big, long beard guy was up on the radio and everything, and then I started listening. And it was just, I really enjoyed. You make that radio and gardening really fun. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing. That's one of the things why you keep coming back, because you make it really fun and all of that. And so that was one of the things when I got started was I've listened to several other radio programs. I've been kind of a radio fan.
What? You listen to other radio shows? Oh my goodness.
A couple of other gardening programs and stuff, and a bunch of other stuff. But I've had like a lifelong, tune into the AM. I was always an AM guy where everybody's talking and chatting and going all of that. And I'm sure you probably know of one of our more popular radio guys up in the Pacific Northwest with Cisco Morris.
Oh yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, Cisco. He's a really great guy, but he's one of those guys that really, when I was younger, and I was like, I had a kind of a little bit of a knowledge of growing houseplants a little bit from my mother, just a little bit, But just whenever you would tune into the radio, and I was always turning on driving or whatever, this guy Cisco would pop on, and he was talking about plants and gardening and all that. I think that was one of my early seeds that was kind of planted, was him and that, the way he brought that all to to the radio and everything. So then when I saw you and I was starting this channel, I was like, I gotta go visit this guy back down in Los Angeles, because he's got this really cool radio program. He's got that personality that I think is similar to like Cisco, that just brings energy to gardening, and that people really attach themselves to. So I was like, I gotta go to the radio with this guy. I gotta go talk about gardening on the radio.
Funny part is I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Neither do I. Everybody
Hey,
knows.
look at that.
Hey, here we are.
It's too funny. Well, I see you have some plants out here today.
Yeah, actually, we set up some of the plants that we were working on and talking about some of that sort of stuff. Because I was mentioning, everybody knows we're primarily a vegetable gardening program. I'm growing in the alleyways and we're growing food of all sorts and all of that. But everybody who tunes into my live streams though gets to see all the fact that I've got tons of house plants too. So it was kind of cool to be able to come onto your program and actually do a little bit of house plants.
But one of the things we have to just two actually main concerns when we're talking about house plants.
Yeah.
One concern is that a lot of them are poisonous. So unlike the vegetables that you normally talk about, many of these could be poisonous. For instance, you get the Dieffenbachia. Dieffenbachia is commonly called dumb cane. And dumb cane, dumb is another language, is another word for like when you ingest it, you can't talk anymore. A person who can't talk is considered dumb. It's not a negative thing.
Right.
It just means they're dumb. They've lost or they can't talk.
Right.
So you ingest something like that, you'll lose your voice. Your throat actually swells up. And sometimes if you're really allergic to that, it swells up to the point of choking you to death. So you gotta really be careful of that kind of stuff.
For yourself personally and all of that too, but I'm also a big cat guy. I've
Yeah.
got cats around my house.
Cats as well
And I'll
too.
tell you, I know there was one thing I was sure that my cat was really young at the time, and you know, probably biting around and playing around with some of the leaves that they could reach or something like that. But I had a lethargic cat for a couple of days. It was not really hating on life, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what the situation was.
Yeah.
Is that he got on and did something and got into the system or something like that. It was pretty, you know, it's pretty worrisome. You know?
Yeah.
Or young kids, even more
Absolutely.
so. You know, your little human kids. You know,
That's
out there
right.
playing around with plants like
That's
that.
right. They
So
may
that
have to
is a
take-
big consideration.
They may have to
think about.
take care of you someday. So you have
Yes.
to take care of the kids.
That's right.
Treat them nice. It's the difference
That's
between 10 by 10 room and a closet.
That's
all.
right.
Every time I see my kids, they look at me, they look at the closet. I don't know what that's about,
I know
but
exactly. I made sure I did treat my kid extra special too, believe me.
so we have that's the first thing that you want to be concerned about. But on the other hand, we've got plants over here that do something absolutely amazing, and that would be they clean up the air.
Yeah.
Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that indoor pollution is really worse than outdoor pollution. And because you have things like plastics, you have glues, you have the materials that your couch and your tables and everything is made out of, you're not going to see very much lead paint anymore. So that's usually not an issue unless you buy a really old house.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we find out is that if you get a plant, a 6-inch plant like this ZZ plant, for instance, what it will do is that it will clean up a 100 square foot area. So all those thousands of plants that you have in your house right now is actually better than you can ever imagine, because each one of the plants eats away at the bad stuff. We're talking like benzene, formaldehyde, and things like this that exhume out of the furniture and out of your carpet and whatever it is that's around you. So it's real important to have house plants as a part of your indoor landscape there. And then we have, like, for instance, right over here to your left, everybody else is right.
Yeah.
We have a grow light, and this grow light right here is great for. Oh, look at that! Is that how you turn it off? I didn't even see that. Oh, it's just a little touch thing.
Yeah.
I haven't even messed around with that yet. I have a staff that handles that kind of stuff. Sorry, but yeah, just something like this. You have 2-3 house plants. If you don't have the light, you don't have the natural light, do something like this. Okay. Now this is costly. I gotta tell you, it's $50 for that little gizmo. But average it over, what's it gonna last? This shit has a life of 10 years.
Yeah, it's LED,
Big deal.
right?
Yeah, it's
So
LED. It's gonna last
it's
a long time.
really energy efficient.
Yeah, so that
And
is
that's something I'm changing over to is LEDs and all that, because that's one of the things. My living room, my place is kind of, against the south. It's not getting that south facing sun. So I'm getting like a shade out, or maybe a little bit of sun at the very end of the day will start coming through that living room window that's kind of to the side of where I'm normally doing my live streams. So all up above, where most people don't see on the camera there, is all like white lights.
Oh,
So I have been using over the last several years just some really bigger compact fluorescents, which work really well. Plants just go amazing. My pothos leaves, when they get close to those lights,
Really?
massive leaves,
Nice.
massive leaves. So they were great, but I want some more energy efficient, something that's got a little bit of color spectrum and all of that, and getting those LED lights and are starting to get a lot more inexpensive. They're getting
They
more
are.
affordable to do. Whereas those compact fluorescents, when I bought them, they were cheaper than the
Yeah.
LED at the time. So now that it's starting to get to be that point, I'm trying to replace everything with the LED to be more.
And for the record, the LEDs or whatever kind of lights you use, if they tell you they're going to last you 500 years, they don't. It's just a selling thing. That's all.
Yeah.
But you know what you're going to notice is that when you start, if you were to change over to using grow lights emulate the rays of the sun.
Yeah.
Basically, what it is. you're still going to need some of your other lights that you have there because it might change the color of your show.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly. I know that too as well. You gotta be kind of, or I might have to be like, okay, switch it out just for that moment.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a really good thing to do. You have the plants, they grow, you can take care of them, and you know, one of the things that we're going to show on the TV show when it comes out fall, I'll let you know about that when it happens.
Yeah.
Is that we actually fed the plants as we did a little routine, if you may, we did a little how-to thing. And I used something that was very different. Have you ever thought about using that before?
No.
To feed the plants?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We used a lawn starter fertilizer.
Lawn starter.
It's the same kind of starter fertilizer that you utilize when you are planting a seed lawn. You need a fertilizer that's really gentle, or for those of you in the Pacific Northwest, genteel. So which hey, I got a lot of stations up there. I'm on the radio over where you're at, up in that part of the country, and a lot of family too.
Yeah.
My parents, I don't know if you knew this or not. My parents actually, they lived in Oregon for 8 years.
I think we
Do you
did talk
remember
about
that?
that before.
Yeah.
I think you were up there on a trip probably just before I came down to visit you last time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I tried
So
to
we
go
were
to-
trying to arrange a time, and I think that's what the deal was, is you were up in Oregon,
I think
up
so.
around there. I was like, oh, you know, how about instead of me coming down there, we'll have you over there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Maybe
we'll have to
someday.
do that
Maybe
one of these days. But yeah, so what you could do is you could buy yourself a 25-pound bag of starter fertilizer for grass seed, and that's going to last you such a long time. To where you take it and you could put it inside of your plants. Now you could use starter fertilizers that are that's organic as well. The only downside to using organics like that inside the house is that they're a little bit of a stink. So
Yeah.
if you don't mind the stink for about
Yeah.
probably 6 or 7 days,
Yeah.
it's going to smell. Then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you could use a homogeneous fertilizer, slow release. You put it on top. You'll see what I'm talking about. He actually sprinkles it just fine on the show, waters it, slowly breaks down, and then you get a feeding that's going to last you a good 4 to 6 months. So you don't have to do it very often. That one bag's going to last you for so long.
Wow, that's a great tip on that,
Yeah.
especially for all of your house plants, like you're saying, you have the organics. That was one of the things I went organic. You know, I'm doing my garden organic. That's kind of what I do when I'm growing my food and all of that. So here I am. I'm trying to do my soils in the house and finding that same thing. It's like, just put that fish fertilizer up inside of your house plant. No, you don't want to do that. I'm sorry. It's not good.
Now, you know, here's
so
a
I do. I'm more non-organic, especially when it comes to my house.
Okay, here's a trick. If you're totally bent on using like a fish feed, don't use a fish emulsion. Yeah, use a fish hydrolysis. 2 different animals. They're processed differently, and the stench is actually shorter on the hydrolysate than it is on the
You're
other.
just saying shorter.
Oh yeah, no, it stinks. no, man, that's not gee.
You still got to deal with that punch, right?
And you know what? Your cat is gonna go absolutely nuts, ripping up all the plants.
One of the best things I really like using, especially on my pepper plants, is just the Alaska fish fertilizer.
Oh,
And I'm not sure which one it might be. I'm not sure exactly. But all I know is that you pop that open, you pour that into the jug just to go add some water to it. Before you even have a chance to get the hose on there to add water to it, that tub has got flies all over.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in a second. There's no flies anywhere. You open that stuff up and like that.
Just like that.
It's
amazing.
It's
But you know
amazing.
what? That actually is a.
That's how bad it stinks.
I had a question on my radio show just this last week, and it was all about how do you get the lady opened up the door of her house. Flies are just coming in 5, 6, 7, 8 at a time. How do you do that? Take a capful of that stuff and put it at the furthest end of your yard.
Mega.
And that will attract them to over in that area. It doesn't mean
That's
you-
a mega life hack right
Yeah,
there.
and
I'm sorry. If you deal with flies in the summertime and they get to be pests like that, wow,
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
never. That is so.
Yeah, in fact, you'd even be better off if you're taking get a cotton ball, soak it in a cotton ball,
Yeah.
and then take it, throw it way in the back. Let your neighbors worry about it.
Yeah.
Worry about it.
Uh-huh.
You know, they're not
I
smart
try to
enough.
keep it up and locked up as I have. The one method I've always used, because my place does attract flies, like even during the summertime, because I don't have them leaving the doors open or anything like that, but they're just coming right in. And the only thing is that you have to wait till after night.
Yeah.
And then you turn your porch light on and turn the rest of the lights off in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just give them enough time, and most all them flies will find their way right out the door, and then close it and try to keep them out for the next day. But it never works. It's nothing. But I bet you that would work almost like every time.
Yeah, it really, really works. And the thing of it is, you can have yourself an insect-free garden. We're talking things like, not insect-free, but a fly-free garden, i.e., where the maggots come. You know,
Right.
you may not have any dead rats, you may not have any trash anywhere, or anything like that. They are coming from your neighbors,
Oh, yeah.
and they're thinking they're going to see. They want to be in your house where it's nice.
Yep.
You blame them? They want to be in there.
Wow.
So,
All right. Well, let's acknowledge we got artist in the garden here. Says, "Hey guys,
you.
my friend David Herrera is here, and he says hi to you." And he says, "Ooh, can't hear you guys good."
I could shut it off.
Let's see.
Let me shut it off. Yeah.
It might be the fan in the back. If not, we might have to start yelling a little louder.
All right, I can do that.
Hopefully that'll fix that up, and we can make sure that you guys can hear us. Hopefully, all right. But good to see you all. You guys coming and join us here. I know we're all just getting chatting here away and all of that sort of stuff, but it's really great to have all of you joining us here on this Wednesday live stream here on the Urban Gardener. And here we are on the road. Lucky enough to have a guest with us right here with us with Nick. And again, like we're saying, we got together and kind of surprised me here with like, hey, we're gonna be on the TV today.
Film a TV show. Yeah.
I've been on a couple of like news programs for a couple of things, you know, where you got the news guy and whatever, you gotta answer the question on the street type of thing. I've done that sort of stuff. I never got down and sat down in the studio and got a good question conversation.
Well, you did good. It's actually just like this.
Yeah.
Just same type of format, and just to let everybody know what it is, it's I host a PBS television show from a very small city called Los Angeles.
Just a little city.
Just a little city, and it airs every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. It's a 30-minute program. Boy, I don't know how many shows we have, over 300 shows, I would imagine.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been on for a lot of years, and so we do a live stream through Facebook, and because my radio show, I host a syndicated radio program on stations all throughout the country. And this is, in fact, last month, I didn't tell anybody about it. Last month was my 35th year anniversary.
35 years.
Talking garden.
Talking
Do
garden.
you know how many times I've told people how to water their plants?
Right.
Yeah, lots.
One thing I'm going to let you know too, real quick, everybody, if you're watching too, is, and I'm going to try to get a link down, but if you go to our videos page and you look up Nick's video we did with Nick a couple years ago, we did a really great interview with him, talking all about how he got started in gardening on the radio. So if you want to know about how
Yeah,
Nick
we're
got
not going to
started on all
repeat it over here.
Mind you, 35 years.
35 years, yeah.
That's awesome,
It just
though,
came
man.
and went. We didn't know fanfare, no nothing. It's like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? You think we'd have a big old
Celebrate, get the
all
cake
that.
out, start getting the streamers
Well, you know
popping.
what's interesting about that? That's actually how I remembered. I came across a picture last week of my 7-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my viewers, who now is a really good friend, back then he was just stalking me, but a really good friend of mine, he got one of those cakes made that kind of looked like me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the technology wasn't there to where you could put your picture on there.
Yeah.
So he gave whoever it was a picture, and then they just kind of airbrushed it in and put a couple of whiskers, and that's what that was supposed to look like me.
Yeah,
but I
great.
just came across my computer, and I go, wait a minute. Hey!
Yeah.
That's as far as we got.
That's kind of about the age, though, too. 35, you are, you know, and you're kind of like, I'm not gonna really, you know what I mean? You're kind of discounting birthdays at that time, you know?
I guess you
it's
could
like,
say
I've been
that.
doing this long enough, you know, that, so you don't really, it's just kind of going, you know,
Yeah.
at that point. But that's just really something else, 35 years.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Not many people, and I'm pretty proud of that fact. There's not many people that have been on the air that long.
Yeah.
I would imagine Cisco is about the same. We're all
I think he just retired.
Did he just retire?
I think he just retired.
So yeah, there's garden communicators that are out there that have been doing this for a long time. But it's really nice to see the young guys jumping into it as well, because it's it's America's #1 hobby.
Yes.
Gardening, $28 billion a year is spent on gardening, and most of that is spent in his backyard.
Yeah,
That's why it looks so
right.
good.
That's right, exactly. That's the way it feels sometimes. But
Hey, looks
yeah.
like somebody wrote it. What's that all about?
What do we got here? David's back in here. Got my garden finished. Yay. Do you guys recycle your grass as mulch substitute? I'm trying on my peppers. Well, from what I understand and know from most people who are mulching and all that, is most mulch is pretty good mulch as long as you're covering your soil, protecting it from all of the other elements and all of that. I think some mulches work better than other mulches, but protecting your soil is probably the first thing you're looking to do. If you've got open, exposed soil, what did you think about grass clippings?
Well, you see, we have to
Worry
understand.
about weeds.
Well, no, we're actually what you're gonna worry about is this more than anything, is that once you have grass clippings, they make. Well, let's do this first. There's a difference between compost and there's a difference between mulch.
Right. Yeah.
Compost can be mulch, but mulch is not necessarily compost.
Right.
Mulch could be anything organic or inorganic. In other words, rocks. That's inorganic.
Some people use rubber tires.
Yeah, don't do that.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it as well. So, and by the way, I'm so glad that's actually kind of going on the downside.
Yeah.
Because it's just not good for your. It's a lot of wrong things with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you're going to use grass clippings, you have to compost them down. So now I use the different word, compost, for your mulch. And the reason why you do that is, this is what will happen. You're going to take your grass clippings and you're going to put them around your plant. Well, what's going to happen is that the roots, they're actually going to like that. They're going to like it. It's nice and warm. It's toasty. I mean, touch your grass 15 minutes after you've bagged it. It's already hot. It's starting to compost down.
Yeah.
But if you put it down over here, what's going to happen is that grass is going to start the composting process, and it's going to start to draw nutrients out of the soil because it wants to be compost. And then your vegetables in particular, they only have a root system of 3 to 4 inches. That's it. Unless it's a root crop, it's really not going to be much more than that. So what will happen is that those surface roots are going to start to draw out the nutrients will start to be drawn out of that as well. So compost them down first. Once you've got to compost it down, then use it as a mulch, because compost has nutrients to it, where mulch doesn't necessarily have it.
And then again, though, too, like my biggest concerns then too, I know my lawn, when I mow my lawn, it's going to have a ton of weeds in there, and then you're going to only be dropping weed seeds in your garden bed at that point.
Excellent point. That's where composting comes in, because composting, if done correctly, is going to kill those weed seeds. It's going to break them down, it's going to annihilate them, and then once you've got this compost, which should take you about 21 days, that's a pretty good average. There are some composters that are much quicker, but the key to getting your composting done really quick is turning it on a regular basis. Once you create that pile of grass, get a handful of soil, because it has microbes in there, throw it inside there, it'll wake everything up, it'll inoculate it, and then before you know it, you're going to have some pretty good compost that will be used as mulch, which will hopefully not germinate any of those weed seeds you're talking about. Hopefully they kill them out.
And that's something I've been doing though too with my grass clippings. So it is something I've been composting them down. I've actually got this one where I've been piling like grass clippings for the last several seasons. So I'm sure right down at the bottom somewhere there, I've got some really great soil that's going on and all of that. So I'm looking forward to getting down in there. But yeah, that's a great tip to think about when it comes to using grass for mulch.
Yeah.
Actually, what you call. And I think that's almost like anything that's still kind of living though, right? If you're using like a little like grass or say leaves if they're green or anything like
Anything
that.
green.
Yeah, once it's getting into the soil, it's going to start drawing that
It's
stuff.
gonna dry, it'll actually steal the nutrients from the plant.
Yeah.
So composting down is so important.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
You could use some of that fish you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, excellent. Again, everybody, thank you for joining us here today on the live stream. All of you joining us on the replay. Again, hit that thumbs up button if you're here. And again, you know, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, get in the comments box there or down in the comments section. If you're watching the replay, let us know that you've checked everything out. Say hi to Nick. And thank him for joining us on the show here. All right. In fact, here we go. Let's see what I was talking about. A few of the different things that I got going on here while I'm visiting and just getting out to see a lot of really cool people and do a lot of really cool stuff. You know.
You can hit any gardens?
What's that?
You can hit any gardens?
Gardens?
Yeah.
That
Like the
love-
Tulip gardens.
I haven't had it.
It's not on the.
I might. I've got some free time. I'm still trying to fill in with a couple of days that I might actually check out something like
Okay, now
that.
here's the biggest problem with Southern California, i.e. Los Angeles. On television, everything is close.
Yep.
It's
exactly.
not.
Now, I was going to mention that when you said the little city of Los Angeles. I was like, unless you're trying to get across it and it takes you 3 hours to literally go.
Well, that's
20
I was gonna say that's a short trip.
That's a short trip too.
Yeah, you gotta plan your.
And you look at it on the map, and they got Los Angeles is all all carved out. And you see it. It's on the map. It all seems kind of nice and tight.
And there's a little dot for it too.
This and that, whatever. And then you try to drive from Rancho Cucamonga to to say Santa Monica
or Santa Monica, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
Oh
something
no,
like that.
you have to pack off lunch, and you got to make sure that you have 2 or 3 days supplies of whatever, because you just never know what's
And that's one of the things I did change out about my planning though on this trip versus the other ones I've made, because I try to do like 2 different visits or something in a day, and then you get like halfway into one, and it's like, there's no way. I'm like, and then sometimes when you're meeting, we start talking, and sometimes it takes us a whole bunch of time to even just get something done. Because when you meet with gardeners, they're great people, and you just start talking and chatting. There's no way to drive all the way across Los Angeles to go meet up with a second meetup in one day.
That's
So I only do one thing a day, and then if I have extra time, I go for a hike or go visit a garden.
Okay, so what you really have to do is you have to plan your drive at between 9 and 10 o'clock, preferably closer to 10 o'clock as possible. And if you're anywhere in the valley, that's Simi Valley, that's San Fernando Valley, that's downtown Los Angeles proper,
Yeah.
you have to leave at 2 o'clock, not 2:01.
Right.
You have to leave at 2.
Yeah.
But the best part about this is that no matter where you are at in Southern California, if there's absolute mayhem and gridlock going on the freeway, you can always get wherever you need to go by street. But you have to know the town in order to do that.
Well, see, and that's the great thing about modern technology and Google. You know, that's how I'm getting around everywhere. And or even if you miss an exit, you make a wrong turn, it corrects for you, and it takes you this way.
Where do you think you're
Or
doing?
the freeway's jammed, and one thing I noticed too is it asks me this time. Like I was coming through here, and it was like, okay, you're on this path. This is the direction you've chosen to get to this destination, but something's happened up the road. And if you take this way now, it'll save you this much time. And it says, do you want to do that?
Yeah.
And it asks you, heck yeah, I want to save 13 minutes. And then the next thing you know, you're on all these side roads. You're going up here. I'm like doing this, like up on the side of a hill, valley road somewhere way out, making me think I'm going way out. No, So when you're not from town, everything is completely strange.
It is.
You know, so it's a good thing to have.
Strange when you used to live here too. But one of the
Yeah.
there's that movie that back in the '80s, it was that Karate Kid.
Karate Kid's one of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Love the Karate Kid.
I crack up every time I see that movie, the old one, the original one.
The original.
Because they talk how they live in Simi Valley.
Yeah.
And then the guy and the girl goes on a date, and they go to the golf and stuff.
Yeah, golf and stuff.
Okay, that golf and stuff is not more than 10, 15 minutes from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Simi Valley is an hour and a half from here. And it's just, I crack up because they make it seem like it's so
I
close.
just want to say how kind of odd it is you mentioned that, and then even in the context of the Karate Kid, talking about where the locations and all that were. Because on this trip, I'm going to visit somebody who lives up in Santa Rosa, a good friend up there I have up in the Santa Rosa area. And I am a big fan of the Karate Kid, and this from the Karate Kid 3 movie.
Mm-hmm.
They go down to get the bonsai from this like cavern that's like coming off of the ocean. It's this big deep cavern.
Okay.
And he's like wrenching
Oh,
himself
that's
down the
right,
thing to go
that's
dig
right.
it up because he thinks this is the way he's gonna get the money to save the shop for Miyagi and all of that sort of thing. But this is a place called the Devil's Punch Bowl, and it's literally off of the 101 up past Santa Rosa.
Yeah,
There.
way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be right down here in Los Angeles, you know.
No, it's not.
And that's actually one of the things I'm going to do on my way back home.
Oh, is that right?
Is I'm going to go visit that location
Oh,
for the
that's cool.
Karate Kid because
That's cool.
I've been wanting to go see it.
I don't know if you can get off the freeway right there.
It's literally right off the 101.
Yeah, I mean,
But there's
you can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see that area right there. You can see.
Yeah.
In fact, they actually showed just this ginormous. It looks like a bonsai, but it's not. It's the
Yeah.
actual formation of the tree in that
Yeah.
area right there.
Oh,
It's pretty iconic.
pretty cool.
Very
Actually,
good.
let me catch up here real quick. Sorry, David. I know you asked a question here, but we're just having so much fun chatting here.
Really good.
It says, I do have my peach tree. A lot of the unripened fruit are falling. What is that?
You want to take it? You want me to take it?
I'm thinking temperature changes, maybe.
Okay.
Watering could possibly be something. I'm thinking of fruit. I know the frost and temperatures are going to mess with flowers. Let's hear what you got.
Okay, what happens is a very common occurrence. It's called June drop. June drop will happen in May, June, or July. And June drop is when he's lucky if he's got some of the fruit still staying on. But it'll happen to most of your stone fruit. So nectarines, peaches, apricots, etc., etc. It's going to, what it is, it's just a natural phenomenon. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a purging of the plant. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens enough to make fruit very expensive at the marketplace because on an agricultural level, this can and will happen to where the fruit just drops like crazy. Now, it is said that you could probably curb that a little bit by taking and doing one of the most horrible things that you could ever imagine. And going like this with a hammer feels a whole lot better than what I'm going to suggest right now. And that is thinning out the fruit off of your tree.
Yeah.
When your peaches, apricots, whatever, when they're almost the size of a golf ball or a ping pong ball, then you're going to have a branch, and on that branch you may have 30, 40 fruit on it. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to remove all, but say 10 of them, maybe 15, and have a handkerchief nearby.
The bigger the fruit, the bigger the fruit that's expected.
Right, survival of the fittest.
The less you're going to have on there.
Right.
Smaller fruit, just a few more, but you want to have a good spacing between.
Spacing in between them. Like I said, have a handkerchief because you're going to be crying through this whole thing because it's like, man, but they look so good.
Yeah.
But you pull those off, and by the way, they actually do this on a commercial level too, so that the June drop doesn't happen. But it doesn't mean it won't happen.
Right.
So you thin out the fruit, it lessens up the weight on the tree, and that's what and you should get a better crop flood. But it's nothing that. What was the person's name?
David.
David, it's nothing that you did. It's an environmental problem. So you're just doing good. That's all. Every time, probably the most important thing to do whenever you walk by trees like that is once you do this, put your hand up. So you put your hand up. I want you to take your middle finger and I want you to throw it over your index finger. So every time you walk out, go like this to your fruit. To your peach tree. Hold no more.
Just stay on there,
yeah. Double up on that if you want.
I am kind of like that right now for this year with my peach tree. I have a container peach tree that I've been growing for the last couple of seasons, and last year it pretty much didn't want to do anything, and that was the season after it was transplanted and put into the pot that I had gotten from a bare root at the time. And so I wasn't expecting too much as far as that goes, but this year I was like, come on now, we've got you going good, you've been in there, everything's all right, and I do got a few fruits on there, but then again, like you're saying with that, I hope I come home and they're still on there.
Well, it's interesting that you said watering first, and I actually thought to myself in a second, I bet he's got something that's in a pot.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, I'm an urban gardener, man. We grow everything in containers.
I know. Okay.
I wish I had some ground space to plant a fruit tree.
Okay, so here's the dealio, and this is with let's just put our pretend cap on for a second. We've got this peach tree. It's growing. By the way, the third year is when you should get something off. Third and fifth year. By the fifth year, if you don't have something, then you should probably think about getting rid of it and putting something else in. If you get the patience, wait till your seventh year. So you have this plant that's growing like this. It's in a container. Your environmental elements are pounding on this thing over here. So you've got a certain amount of soil and roots that's on the outskirts of this that is actually getting pummeled into submission because it's so warm and it's cool. So therefore, this needs a whole lot more water than it would if it was in the ground.
One of the things I've been doing, acknowledging the fact that I know, you see it, you look at these containers, you go, well, that's got to be getting some. So I've been trying to get a lot of like shade and things all around my container.
Oh yeah,
just
smart.
to keep the sun from beating
Smart.
on it. And that was one, most all of your garden containers out there are these black pots, or they come in black pots.
Isn't that odd?
You're sticking them right out in the sun, and those things are just
Absorbing
it. Right up, man. Just, I'm sure like in some regions that works really well for plants where it's really cool and they're having a hard time keeping them warm.
Yeah.
But when you're in places that get really warm, like even in the valley in southern Oregon, when I get, we get really pumping some heat into that valley. You can just imagine those containers. So I think about that. Or a lot of the times, I'm using my self-watering wicking buckets, and I'm trying to make sure I'm always obtaining white ones. So they're reflective, so they're not absorbing the heat. Is trying to keep as much of it off as possible.
And those plastic ones, they're hard to paint because they look lousy after a very short period of time, so don't even think about painting them. It's kind of like that vinyl fencing. Vinyl fencing,
right?
You can't bend because there's oils that are always oozing out of it.
Yeah.
So your containers are kind of the same thing.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Let's see. We're about 47 minutes. We have a few more minutes, and then I think we'll go ahead and head out for the day. I really want to thank you again for having us here. This is so awesome. There was one thing I did want to bring up with you. We're on a radio show, and someone who was talking about something. I'm gonna put you on the spot right here on my live stream.
What did I do?
Remember, we mentioned earlier, because we were talking about the house plants and all, and the poisons and things. And I'm a cat guy. I've got cats. I got cats all over. I've got alley cats that come to join and play with my house cats, and I've had alley cats and all that sort of stuff. And I remember we were on a live stream, and you had a call in asking about deterrents for cats. And do you remember what I was telling you about?
No.
I told you, take skewers.
Oh.
That you can get from like the dollar store or whatever, and you poke them into these spaces, and you're like, I don't know if PETA's gonna be okay with that or anything like that. But I just wanted to kind of
shish kebab the cats, man.
But here's the thing I wanted to say. The one thing I do know in my experience, though, and I just kind of wanted to bring this up in a sense as far as that goes, in the long run, and I'm pretty sure I haven't checked with PETA, but I'm pretty sure that this method is even PETA approved when it comes down to it. Because here's the thing: cats are not going to sit down on that thing. Cats are not going to harm themselves. Cats are just looking for a nice little about foot to foot and a half space that they can kick around in, and that's what they're looking for. So one of the other bigger deterrents for cats, besides say skewers or anything like that, which really I think are a great thing. It just makes them like I can't go here and go in the same spot.
Metal cat skewers.
There's gonna be an Urban Gardener brand skewer product just for a cat deterrent when it comes down to it. But I say in the long run, if you don't want to use skewers or anything like that, that's the thing you got to remember is that's what cats are looking for in your garden is a nice little open space that they can kick around. And if they go to that and they use it once, they're going to keep going back to the same
So figure out a way how to close that space up.
Close that space up. Yeah. That's one of the things is, find something, fill in those holes, give them a place. Because if they just don't have a place that they can kind of move and kick around, if you ever see, and I know we don't want to visualize cats doing their thing very much, but if you do, and if you've seen cats, they move around while they're doing that. And then they kick around, they want to kick around, and all that. So we're going to look for fluffy light dirt, which is a lot what we have in our garden spaces. And then that's just that little open area. So fill in the area somehow, some way, if you don't want to use skewers. But the point is just to annoy them a little bit. Cats get annoyed real easy, so if you can annoy them and they'll move to another spot. Then you got to catch them in the other spot.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, well, Mrs. Things Green won't allow me to have any kind of cats around. She's allergic to them. But what comes to mind that people will probably relate to maybe a little bit. Have you heard of a spork?
Sporks, yes.
Yeah,
that's another one too.
Sporks can work. Those are plastic half spoon, half forks.
Mm-hmm.
They are not pretty in the garden.
No, they're not.
They're not whatsoever in the garden. That could work. That tightens that up as well.
But then there's the next part of that advice too, is that cats are particular and they will return to that same spot. So here's the thing, you got a cat hitting up your garden and you notice he's doing his deed right here. That's all you got to focus on is right there.
Oh,
you know what
so
I mean? Don't go put the
also
sporks like all over your garden or feel like you have to get all over your garden. Just stop it from hitting that spot. Get him to move somewhere else.
So I was just gonna say, so are they coming back there to not only do their constitutional, but are they also going in there to lay around and dig around as well, or they just dump them?
That's what that spot's meant for them. That's
Well,
what they're gonna do.
Well, dogs are interesting because they'll actually do the same thing. So you could train them to go to a certain other area, another spot in your area.
I have a friend who's trying so hard to get
Oh,
his
it's
dog
tough.
right now. He's training him.
It
He's like,
is
once I
tough.
get him there, it'll hopefully.
You know what you could do? You could actually you go to the pet store and they have I don't know, we'll just call it simulated urine.
Oh yes.
And they love the smell of that. So you take it, that's another thing you put in the back of the yard someplace.
For a dog.
For a dog.
Yeah, because then they're thinking like, oh, I need to compete in this territory. So
Yeah, and
that's the spot.
And they'll take a dump in that area.
They want their scent to be prevailing over.
Yeah. But cats they're free thinkers. they're horrible sometimes.
And for the most part, I have really great, and cats, they'll lay on things, they'll do stuff, and I've had some pretty good luck ultimately when it comes to dealing with them in the garden. And another thing too, talking about they chew on stuff. The only problem I've ever really had a cat with a cat dealing with any of my plants in the garden was a young cat I had was chewing on leeks because they looked like grass blades. He chewed on it, thinking grass, they're used to chewing on the grass. You go and chew on a leek and it's completely different. It's totally different flavor, I'm sure, for a cat. That cat, he kicked up.
Oh, so beating it up.
Oh, he was like, and he dug up all my leeks in this one little area because I'm sure he was completely annoyed with it and all that stuff. That's great.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much for having me on. Why don't you continue on? I got other stuff I got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be closing down here real quick and all of that. Again, man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's so great to you. Absolutely.
Yeah. Next time you're in town, come on over again.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to figure out some kind of other media. Like we're doing this, we're doing TV, we've done radio.
Yeah.
What's next?
What's the next medium?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's gonna happen though. Thanks, man. Good luck.
Excellent. Thanks, Nick. Awesome. So cool. Thank you very much here. And we've got Britain Farms Homestead. Hello. How you doing there? Nick's heading out. We're going to be heading out here real soon here for this live chat. Just want to get in, catch up with all of you guys here as we've been making our trip around Southern California here, getting to visit some really cool gardeners. As you can see, Nick Federoff here joining with us, letting us use the studio for the live stream. This is a really great visit today. Just really, really fun to get out here and visit with everybody. I've got some really cool videos coming up for everybody and some visits I've already done. I saw some really cool stuff already, so I'm really excited about bringing some of these videos to you guys already. So, you know, this is going to be really cool. And another thing too, you know, with the live streams that I've been talking about as well, we're working on developing and working on kind of making these live streams just a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining and all of that, and also hopefully trying to be able to integrate guests and things like that as we go and move forward too. So again, Dan, thank you for joining with us here on the live stream. Thanks for the compliment. That was brilliant, fun show. Yes, absolutely. It's always fun when you get together with other gardeners and people who are really like-minded in this industry and in this community and all of that. You know, it's just really great times are had whenever you're talking with some people who have a very similar passion for growing things as you do. And so yeah, excellent. You know, I appreciate the compliments there. Thanks again, David. Thank you all so much. And yeah, I think from here, we're getting about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and probably head out for our live stream today. I've got a couple of other things I've got to finish up here real quick too. And again, I'm working on getting set up. I'm not sure exactly, but I think I have something set up for next Wednesday's live stream. We'll still be on the road. I think it'll be my last day before I head home actually. So next week we'll have another live stream for you from an undisclosed location yet to be determined. All right, excellent. So let's see here real quick before I head out. Just want to make sure that everybody gets down below, hits that like button if you haven't had a chance to hit the like button yet, and also hit the comments section. Let me know you're here. Say hi to Nick and all of that for joining us here on the live stream, and also hit up some of those links that we've got. Come join us at our Facebook group, Let's Get Growing, a gardening group that we've got there. Really love to have you guys join us and share with us all of your gardens and all of that. A great place for you to connect with the urban gardener community that is just growing and growing and growing. And it's growing because of viewers like yourself. They're joining with us all the time and supporting us and sharing with everybody out there that we're here, the urban gardeners here. Again, we passed 10,000 subscribers for our channel this week while we're on our trip down here to Los Angeles. So that's a huge milestone for us in our channel, and that's all thanks to every one of you who hit that subscribe button and following along with us here on our garden adventures right here on the Urban Gardener. And with that, I'm going to leave all of you here in the Things Green studio. We'll see you next week for next week's Wednesday live stream.